Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going? Welcome to Gaming News and Trailers for May 22nd, 2022. This might be a short one. Just got a couple of semi-big stories and a couple of trailers. For those of you who are interested in SOTOR, you'll want to pay big attention to this first news article. In the previous Gaming News and Trailers, we talked about there being like 100 layoffs at EA Austin, and that definitely got a lot of people like thinking and trying to figure out what's going on. And then now we have potentially an even bigger story that has now come out. It appears that EA is looking to either merge or be bought out by another company. So Jeff Keighley reporting here, EA was set to merge with NBC Universal. Four sources with knowledge of the proposal told this Puck News, but the deal fell apart last month. In addition to that, they've also been speaking with companies like Disney, Apple, and Amazon. But the bottom line to all of this is the fact that EA is looking to sell, which, EA is a company that's been kind of in trouble, I guess you could say, for many years. It's gone down as one of the worst companies in history, like year after year. There's actually like a voting thing that happens for that, and a lot of people are upset with how they handled the Star Wars deal, and now they're changing up FIFA and the whole loot box thing with Battlefront 2, and it just kind of goes on and on and on. So apparently the EA board, or at least some of the higher ups, they want out. They want to get their big paycheck and go sit on a beach for the rest of their lives. Now, regarding SOTOR, because I know a lot of you are very interested in that game, and you might want to know, what would happen with SOTOR if this buyout actually happens. And really, it's a 50-50 dice roll. So, as an example, if Amazon were to buy EA, I pretty much guarantee you SOTOR's done. Because Amazon has been in a feud with Disney for years, and there's been all kinds of stuff like, oh, they won't sell the Marvel stuff on time, or maybe it's more expensive, or whatever it is. In addition to Amazon want people to play their MMOs, and then you get into, would they transfer servers? Would they buy the servers? So forth and so on. Either way, I would put money on the table that Amazon would destroy SOTOR. On the other hand, if it gets sold to Disney, SOTOR could finally see the money and resources that they have needed for years and give that MMO a mega bump. But again, you got to remember that SOTOR is essentially an 11-year-old game at this point. Yes, it is making some money, but it's still an old game that does not have the player base of something like Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft or whatever. So it would depend on which company buys EA and whether or not the servers and the licensing and all that gets, swapped around. But it's not good. And in my opinion, it's not good. And you also have to look back at some things like, you remember when Disney bought LucasArts? Everybody knows about 1313, a big popular video game that was in the works. And whenever one company buys another company, you go through the catalog. It's like, okay, what do you have? What are you currently working on? And Disney's like, 1313, yep, shut it down. And that story has gone on forever about, will we ever see that game again? But yeah, I don't have a good feeling about SOTOR. And you would assume that EA is going to continue to look around until they find somebody that's going to buy them. So we'll see what happens, but it's a very, very interesting story, and we'll have to see how everything works out over the next couple years or so. So we'll see. Next story, Norman Reedus was out there doing some interviews, and he accidentally let slip that they are working on Death Stranding 2, which is something that he was not supposed to talk about. But yeah, basically there was an interviewer who asked him the question of, okay, so you got the book going on, you've got the final season coming out, referring to The Walking Dead, then a spinoff, Walking Dead, and you're filming Death Stranding, the video game. And Norman Reedus replies, yes, we just started the second one. And there were some other comments a little bit later on in the article, but essentially, Death Stranding 2 is actually going to be a thing. So I'm sure Kojima and crew are not very happy about that. But an interesting story nonetheless. Because I think a lot of people thought that game was going to be a one-off. And then from there, Kojima would make his next game whatever the next game is going to be. So it's possible that his studio's working on more than one game. But Death Stranding 2, probably 3-4 years out at this point. So very interesting stuff. And then the final news story for today. Sony is out there releasing some information about God of War Ragnarok. This is a game that currently has no release date, but has been rumored for 2022. And Sony has essentially been silent on it since they released the last trailer for the game. And then all of a sudden this week, this comes out and everybody's like, oh, I guess it is coming out this year. We just don't know when. Because otherwise they wouldn't release this kind of information. You know, going into some detail on the game about some, user interface stuff and that sort of thing. So, pretty cool stuff. Could be the main Game of the Year contender for old Elden Ring. So, I guess we'll see what happens. So, we're going to move over to trailers. There's only 2 trailers. So, it was announced that Marvel was announcing a new game. And that it was being developed by a bunch of the Hearthstone people. So, everybody just automatically assumed it was a card game. Turns out, it's a card game. And we have a trailer for it. So, let's go ahead and check this thing out. It's called Marvel Snap. Personally, I'm down for a good card game. Why are there so many Doom bots? Oh no. It's a very cartoony Galactus. That must be Miles Morales. Is that Black Panther in an Iron Man suit?
I am so excited to show you what we've been working on for the last 4 years. Marvel Snap is the culmination of everything we've learned about making super fun card games combined with the power of the Marvel Universe. It's been an unbelievable honor to work with Marvel and Newverse on our first project. There's never been a game like Marvel Snap, and we're so excited to share it with you.
Marvel Snap is a collectible card game where we stripped out all the stuff that gets in the way of fun and gets everybody straight into the strategic action.
The first thing that makes Marvel Snap different than other CCGs is how fast the games are. Each game is about 3 minutes.
Both players play simultaneously. There's no waiting.
We've taken your opponent's turns and your turns and layered them on top of each other so that you don't have any waiting. It's just your turn, your turn, your turn, your turn. You get to make all the decisions in half the time.
So how does that work?
With Marvel Snap, we really wanted to bring it to the next level. Another example is deck building.
Once upon a time, card games had 60 card decks. You could play 4 copies of any card, which is actually just 15 unique cards. And so in Marvel Snap, we thought, hey, what if we just did 15 unique cards? And actually, the games are so fast, we can go down to 12 cards, which is still about the same amount of strategic depth, but it's so much easier to build a deck. The game is all about the Cosmic Cube.
Oh, snap!
In the rank mode, you're basically fighting against other players, trying to get more Cosmic Cubes.
If you think you're going to win, you can snap your opponent, and that doubles the stakes.
And that kills them.
The whole mind games aspect does spike my heart rate a little bit. When you feel like you are going to win the game, you can double down and get more rewards back, which feels great when you win.
If you retreat the game, that means you lose the game. But it doesn't feel bad. It's kind of like a skillful damage control.
It's played over 3 locations, and your goal is to win 2 out of the 3 locations. So the mind games start to happen as you start shuffling your cards around and trying to figure out how to outwit your opponent to secure 2 out of the 3 locations.
The cards focus on the heroes and villains of the Marvel Universe, and every card in Marvel Snap has a unique ability. These powers really affect the game, and so choosing the cards that work best together is one of the most fun parts of the game.
My favorite card is probably Magic. Heimdall?
Viper, Galactus,
Gamora.
King the Conqueror. The Marvel Universe and Marvel Multiverse ultimately is so rich. How can we get all of that into this game? And the only way to do that is through these variants.
Maybe you really like one style of variant, and so you want to collect a bunch of them and build your whole deck using these variants.
We'll find like really unique artists who have such a distinctive style that we actually want to turn
So I'm going to guess this game's going to be free to play, and then you'll have to buy the packs.
into a variant set. So that's another way we approach variants.
It's another way to express yourself in Marvel Snap. So when we launch, there'll be well over 150 base cards for players
And then, like they just showed, there'll be different variants
to collect. And then we're going to continue to be adding new cards to the game every single month as these new seasons roll out.
We just really want you to see that there's
Wait, who the heck is Blue Marvel?
going to be something new in there every day.
It's really important to us that you're not paying for power. The game is free to play, and you can get every card in the
There you
game
go.
over time without paying anything.
Oh, so they're going to do the Hearthstone route. I mean, it makes sense. These guys have literally built Hearthstone over 10 years or whatever the heck it's been.
Got him! We can just hit one button and you're right into a game. We try to find a fair match for you. There's no pressure on you to figure out what kind of battle you want to have today.
The skill cap is really high. I think you can play the Snap for thousands of hours and not feel like you've perfected it.
When no game feels the same, you feel like you're always learning. I think that's what's really important for a game feeling like it has meaningful depth.
We have huge ambition of constantly delivering new content and constantly evolving the meta for the game.
Frame break.
That will deliver better experience to our players.
Marvel Snap is a mobile-first title, but that's not the same as being mobile
It's also on PC.
only. We are working towards having an early access version available on PC at the time that we launch globally.
One of the things I'm most excited about in the game are these incredible 3D effects.
Because they know, and also they stole this from their own Hearthstone game. So you're probably going to have regular cards, and then you have the golden version of that card, which is animated. Also, what is going on with this Wolverine in here? This has got to be some variation of Wolverine where he's all like robot-y or something. I don't know.
That we have on cards, they really make it feel unlike any other card game.
Except for the other one that we made.
We did a lot of VFX around communicating an ability for a card, but we also started adding flavor effects that just make cards feel more like who they are, those characters.
The music especially brings together some of the iconic feel and genre that you've come to expect with Marvel.
Anytime a Marvel character has an iconic line, we made sure to record that character saying that line. Human Torch says, "Flame on!" and the Thing says,
"It's clobbering time! Hulk smash!"
Marvel Snap is like a continuation of the fandom that many of us have had for Marvel since when we were toddlers. Now we get to pour all that passion into something that's really going to make it out there.
On Marvel Snap, I get the luxury of doing what I love. And what I love is art.
You just geek out over the comics that you used to read as a kid and spend every day looking at something that is going to...
One thing that I'll say is different between this and Hearthstone is, you know, Hearthstone is essentially based on World of Warcraft, and this is based on the Marvel IP. When they have a card for Hearthstone, and they have to do like variations of it or whatever, they essentially have to kind of just make it up. Where this, it's like, let's do different versions of Wolverine. There's literally 60-odd years of stuff they can go back to for alternate versions of Wolverine or any of these Marvel characters. You know, outfits and the whole deal. So it's something they're going to be able to pump out quicker, I would think.
Blow your mind. It's just a dream come true.
We hope you enjoyed that first look into the passion and excitement we put into making Marvel Snap. It's been an incredible journey. Thanks to our partners at Marvel and Newverse for helping us get all this together. And follow us on our social media, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, everything. And go to marvelsnap.com. Sign up for the beta. It starts soon. We'd love to play some games with you. Thanks for watching, everybody.
He's going to eat that planet. We're dead, chat. We all just died. I actually think that looks great, but I'm also big into card games. Like, I've put so many hours into Hearthstone. All right, final trailer. Like I said, we only got 2 trailers. There was yet another Star Trek game announced. This is also a very short trailer. It's only like 42 seconds. This is Star Trek Prodigy.
Entering coordinates. Setting a new course. Stay alert down there, cadets.
Where are we?
Hello? Anyone there?
Please be nice. Please be nice. Please be nice.
Watchers! But it can't be. Just call me Mr. Plantastic. We've got to move fast, or that supernova will blow us all to the Gamma Quadrant.
And believe me, we don't want to go there.
Let's go.
Product not yet rated.
So you got Captain Janeway here, and it sounded like that was Kate Mulgrew, but why are these characters not in standard issue Starfleet uniforms? Are these like custom characters that you make? I'm also very curious as to what kind of game this is, because this trailer didn't really tell us much. I mean, this is like, when I first saw this, I'm like, is this like a JRPG? But then they're like, it looks like a third-person action combat game, maybe. So this guy's like dual-wielding phasers. Maybe it's a puzzle game, too? I mean, that's literally all the gameplay that we got was just this little piece right here. Oh, she was using a sword, and she like... Yeah, maybe it's like an ARPG, just from like this top-down view. So, also, the camera is moving based on this guy right here. So, I wonder if you have any other people or your companions, maybe? But yeah, you can see the camera like shifting around. There's no interface here. There's no like targeting reticles or anything. Or maybe this other person could be another player, in theory. So, I don't know. That other Star Trek game that's in the works from, I think, Telltale. That game actually looks really good, too. But I want, like, a new, like, real legit Star Trek game. It's been a long, long time since we've seen something like that. Give me Bridge Commander 2 or something like that, you know? All right, for those who are watching on YouTube, that'll go ahead and do it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.